Hi, my name is Stephen McGee and I'm the author of Health Forensics, and we're here to review an experiment that I started in May last year. It's now January 2016 and this experiment has now progressed far enough to get results, and it is a smart utility meter experiment, and in this area the smart meters are known as AMR and AMI meters. And we're going to start over here. So this is the upper kitchen northeast plant, and it was placed here in May 2015. So this is the corner cabinet, and this is the north wall, and this is the east wall. And this is what we got. So there's a wide range of radio frequencies being propagated through this kitchen, and they're biologically harmful. And these are Dieffenbachia plants. So as you can see, anybody who grows the Dieffenbachia will say that's a really retarded Dieffenbachia plant, because the Dieffenbachia, it has leaves the size of your hand, and clearly these are not leaves the size of your hand. They're also very glossy. The Dieffenbachia leaves are very dull and they're heavily patterned, and there's no patterning in these leaves. So you can clearly see that this is a highly retarded Dieffenbachia plant, and that's consistent with it being exposed to utility transmitting meters that are extensively known for their biological toxicity to both plants and humans today. So this is the worst plant. It's the closest to where the utility meters are. We're going to have a little look at the next worst plant. So we need to move away a little bit, and anyone who is familiar with the toxicity of wireless radiation will realize that as you move away from the wireless radiation source, the toxicity of that source reduces. So it's not very obvious in this plant. We haven't moved far enough away to see it in this plant. So we've still got the very small leaves, very retarded Dieffenbachia, very shiny, glossy radio frequency exposed leaves. So this is the upper kitchen middle on the east wall, and it was put here in May 2015. Okay, so we're going to have to reach out and grab this plant because it's quite far away. And one of the things that you notice on this is it actually has retained one of its original leaves. So this plant was covered in leaves that looked like this when it came into the house, and that's typical of the Dieffenbachia. And it's got a lot more leaves, and the leaves look better. They're better defined leaves, but they're still miniature. So this one is heavily radio frequency exposed, and we grew it in the upper kitchen cabinets on the southeast corner, and again it was placed here in May 2015. So there's another plant that I need to show you, because we're going to look at the same plant. Now this is a trailing vine, and you can see that there's no patterning in the leaves. Now this has heavily patterned leaves, and there isn't a single patterned leaf on this. So that's one of the effects that I've noticed with radio frequency exposure in plants, is that plants that have heavily patterned leaves start putting up these plain green leaves. So the patterning mysteriously disappears. So we got another one, and I'll show you the patterning in it as we get closer to it. Okay, so we're going to move onto our north wall, and you'll probably notice that we've got these umbrella plants here. So this one's doing very, very well. It was stressed for the longest time, and then I moved it next to the windows and it started growing normally again. So I came to the conclusion that the umbrella plant is a high light exposure plant, because this one was showing similar stresses, and as you can see I've not been rotating these plants, and all the growth is on the side facing the window. So That's what the umbrella plant looks like. And you will notice that we do have some shiny leaves on this plant. And that's consistent with radio frequency exposure. So let's go down the line a little bit. Okay, so we've got our first fatality. So this was the upper kitchen, north wall in the middle. And the plant died. So it only took several months for that to occur in this location. One of the things I will say about this location is it is actually in the shadow of the wall. It doesn't get much light here. So one of the things that I've noticed with radio frequency exposure is you appear to be able to offset some of the toxicity of the exposure with bright light, and this did not get the bright light and subsequently died. So this is another plant that we have up here. Has a few plants in the pot. And remember I was saying about the dark green leaves? Well, this is what the leaves are supposed to look like. So they're supposed to be heavily patterned, and our vine is putting up heavily patterned leaves. So this is what happens when you get a little bit further away from a radiation source, that you start seeing the patterning come back into the leaves. You can see one here. So let's get on to the next plant. And this is probably the best of the bunch that I was able to grow, and we're probably the furthest. In fact, I can tell you that we are the furthest away from the transmitting utility meters. So we look back along the line, we can see where we've been and where the plants were grown. So we've come quite a way away from where the transmitting utility meters are located. And this is what we got. So we've got this plant is near to a window, and it's putting up all this growth. So the leaves are bigger, and there is some evidence of some patterning appearing in the plant. So you can see that as you move away from where these transmitters are located, you get better growth on the Dieffenbachia, to the point where you can actually start recognizing that these leaves are actually miniature Dieffenbachia leaves. So let's have a little look at the label. So this is upper kitchen, northwest, and it was placed here May 2015. I'm just going to pull back so you can see that plant. So the plant that exhibited by far the best growth was the furthest away, and that is the expectation with radio frequency exposures and biologically harmful radio frequency exposures, is the further away you get from the source, the less toxic the exposure becomes. And unfortunately, my kitchen appears to be the most toxic room in the house for growing the Dieffenbachia, and it's consistent with there being a bank of transmitting utility meters very, very close to this location. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I wish you the very best of health. Thank you.